Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rock star direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jennie will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger.
Welcome back to another episode of the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast. I am here, your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger, and I am so stoked for the guest that I have to share with you today. Carey Rippe is someone who I have known for, since 2012. So it's been about 8 years now because we are recording this in 2020 during all of the COVID quarantine madness. But let me tell you a little bit about Carey. Carey is a busy work from home mom. She is a wellness professional, entrepreneur, and her daughter, Olivia, is in high school. She also has 3 little fur babies, and she's loving her life with her partner, Robert. She's been in direct sales and network marketing since February of 2012, but she has recently made the switch in careers to a health and wellness field in January of 2019. So she has been with 2 different companies now. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but she says she loves her career and her company community immensely and looks forward to many years of helping others eliminate their physical and financial pain. And let me welcome you to the show, Carey. Please say hello to everybody.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Jennie. I am so excited for today.
Yay. I know. It's so much fun because, when I was looking at doing our talk today, I was like, this doesn't even feel like work because I get to have a really awesome conversation with one of my really close friends. Yeah. Carey and I have been, we call each other Irish twins because we literally have the same birthday 1 year apart. We're not going to say who's older because it doesn't matter. We are soul sisters. Let me tell you, it's amazing how many things we have in common.
No doubt.
So let's start with the story of how you got into direct sales, because that's how we know each other. We were in the same company for a number of years together. So let's talk about your story, how you got into it.
All right. Well, I had been a veterinary assistant for going on 15 years. And like a lot of people, I kind of started experiencing some burnout. And I wanted something more. I felt like I was working for my boss's family. And so they could go on vacations. And so they could, remodel their home and do all those kinds of things. And literally, I was seeing that happen. And there was 1 year that I didn't even get a raise. And I had been with that particular company for 12 years. And I just didn't feel heard or listened to or respected. And so I just got that itch of there's got to be something more out there that serves my family and serves me, because I wanted to grow into different positions within the clinic and do, use the skills I had. And I was basically told, no, we're sorry. We don't want to partake in that. And it was disappointing and disheartening. So over the years, it just got to be where I just kind of needed something, but I had no idea what that meant or what that was going to look like. And I meet someone and we're PTA moms at the same school and our kids are in elementary school together. And she had just started with this fantastic bling company, and it was Park Lane Jewelry. Mm-hmm. And I was fascinated by all her jewelry every day when we were in car pickup line. Even with her PTA shirt, she just looked so fabulous. And I was like, what is that all about? So one thing leads to another. And I decide about literally within a month of knowing about the company, I'm like, okay, I want to do this. And about 6 weeks after kind of jumping in as a rep for Park Lane, I decide I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to make this my full-time job. It's going to become my career. And luckily, with the blessing of my spouse at the time, I did. I just literally jumped in feet first. And I absolutely Loved working from home. It proved to be much more challenging than I anticipated. I'm a well-organized, very routine kind of person, and I found myself all of a sudden feeling like a fish out of water. But I grew and I was quite successful at it, and I started earning trips with the company and a ton of incentives, and found myself in the top 50 in sales worldwide. Pretty much every 6 months we had a convention, as you know, and they would, give us those accolades for doing a great job. And it was really wonderful. And I felt very fulfilled. But then there was the call of something else.
Yes.
And I went through major life changes starting about, October of 2017. And basically, long story short, I'm sure, people can relate to this, but I went through a separation and a divorce, and it was gut-wrenching. And I found myself health-wise in just kind of dire straits. And I had a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. I am very much an emotional eater, which means I eat whether I'm happy, whether I'm sad, whether I'm bored. And I found my health just rapidly deteriorating. And luckily I had someone that cared about me enough to introduce me to a health and wellness lifestyle. And I was quite skeptical and dubious, but I was very desperate to make changes. So September of 2018, I made a leap and starting using some amazing things that were helping me not only sleep better, find much more energy. I did have this excess weight coming off, and I just, oh my gosh, I felt like I was a new person, like I was finding me again. And slowly that shell of who I had been was kind of falling away, and I was finding the me again that I missed. And then January of 19, I was encouraged to go to what they call our New Year's kickoff. And I go to the Isagenix New Year's kickoff in 2019, and I found myself surrounded by the most amazing community of people, all walks of life, just men, women, children of all ages. And it just was so vibrant, and there was so much energy and positivity with everyone. And it was such a welcoming, wonderful thing. And girl, I needed that. I was looking for that. And so, and here I was, a single mom. And while I loved my career with Park Lane, at the end of the day, I needed to grow my financial gains, and I needed to take care of me financially. And so when I found out that not only did this amazing community welcome me in, but they had an amazing comp plan that I could really rock some gangster money with, I was like, okay, I'm in. I don't know what I'm doing, but I've done it once before where I just jumped in feet first. And so January of 19, I went, okay, like as if I needed another life change, but let's go. I'm ready.
Right. Well, I got to jump back really quick though, because you did know what you were doing. It was just a new product. That's it. It's the same conversation. It's the same, a business is a business is a business. I don't care what your product is, what your service is, right? It's, what you're doing.
Yes.
And I don't want you to feel like, I'm harping on you because I'm not.
No, I'm taking it as a compliment. Thank you.
We all feel like when we make those shifts, we're like, the first thing we say, the first thing that comes out of all of our mouths, because I can guarantee you, I said it when I switched and went into my coaching business full time, was, well, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, bullshit. Yes, I did. You
just got to apply it.
We don't give ourselves enough credit. So I want to start with that. Yes, you knew what you were doing because you were a trip earner with your first company. You were a car bonus earner. You had built a team before. You had done all those things. You knew what you were doing. It was just a new product. It was a new comp plan. It was new vocabulary, but you know what you're doing. So what's been your experience with Isagenix now? Tell us a little bit about how you've been able to apply some of what you knew from your first direct sales experience to this new one.
Oh my gosh. Well, After going through a lot of personal changes, I did need reminded of those things. So it's really funny that you're saying that, because I, gosh, like I had to find this newfound growth. Even though I had the skills, I had to learn to bring them back out and flourish with all that
Mm-hmm.
again. And so, I within Isogenics, the thing that just rocks my world is every day is about personal growth, and every day is about how do I not only improve my life, but how do I pay that forward and continue to bless the lives of others.
Mm.
And so just being surrounded by all of these absolute just rock star boss babes, and we have a lot of boss dudes too, and you know and just being encouraged and supported, it lets those, like, lets your wings out, and you do get to soar and you do get to fly. And so I absolutely love that I am literally spending my days not only helping others, but by also growing that financial opportunity that I was looking for, that I needed. And I'm creating a legacy business that I have even now got set up that my daughter can step in when she's ready, when she's 18. My partner would love to work it with me, and we hope to retire him so he can come and work, and we do this together as a team, because there's a lot of like husband and wives and partners and everybody kind of doing this as a family, where there's different generations of families actually working and building these teams. I just love the positivity of it. And there's so much room for, personal growth, financial growth, and then just continuing to change lives, because I was a product of the product to begin with, and my health had radically changed for the better, and it still continued. I'm almost 2 years in, and I still continually have, great things happening. Just most recently, I saw where my cholesterol numbers had dropped significantly, and I have a familial history of cardiac disease on both sides, and hypertension and stroke and things like that. And to see that I had numbers that were once fairly dangerous, even in my early 20s, to now be sitting at 43 and be seeing those numbers get much closer to normal, that's radical. Like, I may have just extended my life. At least I'm certainly hoping so. So,
Right.
I'm loving that there's so many benefits, health benefits, financial benefits, and just, seeing others be able to take advantage of the opportunity and run with it as well. And I'm just so grateful that I've gotten a chance to do that and continue to teach others the way.
That's so awesome. And I definitely, getting to be your friend, I've been watching this transformation, and, because at the same time I was going through my issues with my ex-husband, and it's like I said, y'all, the the parallels in our lives. I mean, seriously, we were going through our divorces at the same time. We just didn't know it, because neither one of us was putting our dirty laundry out there,
Right.
at that time, but watching that shift in you has been really amazing to see, because you were always what I thought was a happy, joyful person in the first place. Of course, we all have our challenges, right? And I knew that, of course, not everybody's life is perfect and whatever, but just seeing the shift, and you have this amazing sparkle in your eye now when you do your live videos, and when you take pictures and selfies of yourselves, and just looking at your befores and afters that you put up, not for the purpose of selling, but just to encourage yourself. Because I know you're not putting up there going, "Hey, look at me now, come buy my stuff."
Oh, no.
There's almost never anything saying, come buy my stuff with those before and afters. It's just, oh my gosh, look at the difference. Like,
Yes.
when you're looking in the mirror every single day, you forget those things. You forget what it used to be like when you had looked in the mirror 2, 3, 4 years ago compared to what you're seeing now, because you're seeing that change happen every day. So it's such a minute shift that you don't notice it. So sometimes those memories pop up in Facebook, and you're like, holy cow, right?
Oh yeah. Like, holy shit. Like, that really? Like, that's what I looked like then? Because you're right. When you see the everyday, and you're just seeing yourself, you do get a bit of that kind of almost like body dysmorphic, because you see yourself how you've seen yourself for so long. So I do those side by sides, because most of the time it's oh my God, guys, look at this, you know, like you will not believe this. And I love doing that with other people too, because I'm just continually astounded by just the wonderful transformations I've seen in so many people, and not just on the outside, but actually really changing the outlook of people's health with good nutrition. And there's not a soul on the planet that couldn't use better nutrition.
Right.
And that's what it boils down to.
I definitely agree because, you know, one of the things that comes along with me being a whole person coach, you know, this coaching piece is not just talking to people about their businesses, but asking them how they're taking care of themselves, because, you know, we've got to put our oxygen masks on first before we can help others. You know, there's a reason why flight attendants say that at the beginning of every flight. And a lot of people blow that stuff off, but it's like, hello, you've got to take care of yourself first. Because if your tank is empty, how are you going to have the energy to do anything for anybody else?
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's not just about, you know, a selfish, I'm going to take care of me. It's no, if I'm going to take care of you, I need to take care of me. And I get to take care of me to make sure that I've got what I need as a mom, as a wife, as a significant other, as a friend, as a dutiful daughter. All the hats that we wear, we are able to actually take care of that other person.
Yeah.
So
True.
So the other thing that comes up for me too is that in moving from one company to another, what are some of the things that you have been able to take from your first experience and apply to the new one, the new business, to help you be, because I'm guessing that your learning curve had to be a lot shorter.
You know, honestly, it actually, because of my own journey with my mental health issues, with the anxiety and the depression, I did stumble, and I really did get kind of hung up. And because the Isogenics comp plan and the way that this is, you know, set up so much differently than the former company that we were with, Parkland Jewelry, I had a harder time switching gears, believe it or not. And my mentors, which were also with the company we were with, were like, come on, you can get this, you know this. And it's funny because there was so much patience involved in guiding me with this. And I was just in it to absolutely like, excuse me, my water alarm is going off to drink my water.
Good.
But you know, they were so encouraging, and there was so much mentorship that went into it. But I took a little bit, but I'll tell you what transcends all companies, and that is relationships and connections and being authentic and genuinely yourself.
Amen.
And so that crosses all lines and applies to any business that you're in. And once it settled in, once it finally clicked and the light bulb actually went off, I went, what the hell am I doing? I know this. I know what I'm doing. I know how to build a business. I was a top, recruiter. I was a top salesperson. I was, like, why am I holding myself back? But my mindset said, but you're a newbie. You don't know these things. And I went, finally, one day, I just went, you know what? Like, I got to stop listening to that. And I got to bring out that inner me, that boss babe that does know what she's doing. And honestly, since about September of last year, I put it in full gear and just pedaled to the floor, and here we go. So
that's awesome, because you're exactly right. You've done this before, you know this. And so that you would say that that's probably one of your biggest obstacles was your own mindset.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, 100%.
So let's get into that just a little bit.
Sure.
Because I'm sure that there is someone listening right now who is probably in a very similar boat, in that they've either switched companies or maybe they've just started in direct sales and they are mentally holding themselves back the way that you were. When you look back, what's the first moment you remember beginning to challenge that mindset that was holding you back? Do you remember what the thought was that you either said to yourself or thought to yourself to?
Yeah, it was kind of like that mental moment of smacking myself upside the head and just going, what the fuck, sister? Like, you know what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
you had a very successful team. You were literally, the thought was, you were a leader. Why are you not leading? You like,
Oh,
yeah, like it hit me like that. And I went, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, I got goosebumps right now.
I
Like,
do too.
because that's it. But I'm telling you, girlfriend, I went through so many changes, and there was, just life
Yeah.
got so upside down that I forgot what I was actually capable of. I was literally working so much on survival. And then when I started to get into that thrive mode versus survive mode, I still had to get the brain in check. The brain had to catch up. And there's so much backstory there. We could talk about it all day, but basically what it was is I needed to listen to the gut, not necessarily the negative committee in my head saying, ooh, this is scary, I don't know, and just go, listen, girlfriend, you know what you're doing. Just get in there and do it, and do the do.
Right.
So yeah, but it really was just that click. And I will say, I started this like accountability group basically. And we called it our 20 and 30. And I believe it's something that network marketing professional Eric Worre does. And they talk about bringing 20 people into your business within 30 days. And I started a group like that with some of my colleagues. And that was really when I knew there were other people like me building this business, and we all were kind of at different levels, but such similar, stories.
Mm-hmm.
When we all got together and I had that community of support and positivity, and we were really running for this all at the same time, that for me it just really, everything clicked in.
I love that, because so many people, even though they know and I say no with air quotes around it, they know that they've got their upline, their mentor, and maybe they have a couple people that they've brought on themselves. But oftentimes in direct sales and network marketing, we can sometimes feel very alone in the business because we know so few other people who are doing the same thing we're doing. So it sounds to me that part of that mindset shift is once you kicked your own ass and said,
Get the fuck to work.
I've done this before. I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to address that in just a minute. But I think the part that's standing out for me there was part of that success was you set a goal, 20 and 30, right? Mm-hmm. You put that goal out there and said, who else wants to do it with me? And then you jumped in and became one of the leaders in that group. Even though they're not your team, even though they're not your whatever, that you created a community of other like-minded individuals who were willing to set a goal, put it out there, and hold each other lovingly accountable.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I couldn't have summarized it any better.
Perfect. Good. Because that's, that's really what it takes, is realizing that number one, we can do it. Number two, we've got to set a specific goal to go for, no matter what it is. I don't care if your goal is, I'm going to make $100 extra this month, or if your goal is to be the next company vice president or senior marketing director or whatever your top level thing is, right? Mm-hmm. I don't care what your goal is. Have one.
Yes.
Have one. Yes. Right? Because if you don't have a goal, like, it makes me so sad, because I don't know if I've shared this on the podcast recently or not, but I know I've talked about it with some of my coaching clients, that Harvard Business did a study on goal setting, and they said 84% of people don't set goals.
Wow.
That, like, do you know how sad that makes me? That means there's 84% of people that they talk to, which means they're probably fairly representative of most Americans. 84% of Americans are just drifting.
Wow. That's a huge number.
They're just going with the flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means only 16% of people in life are setting goals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, I'm like, seriously, that's it?
As a coach, your skin is crawling.
I know that like they're like, well, even before I was a coach, that was something that was one of the first things I did with my team members was say, okay, what's your goal? I don't care what it is, but pick something.
Mm-hmm.
Is it I want to make enough money to pay off to pay my car payment every month? Is it I want to do gas and groceries? Is it I want to save for a Disney vacation for my family in the next 12 months? So, about $5,000 in the next 6 to 9 months. Great, we can do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what your goal is, but pick something, because otherwise, if you don't pick anything, you're not going to go for anything. You get exactly what you go for.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Yeah. Preach.
Right? So, I love that. But then the other thing that came up for me in that was the role of the negative voice,
Mm-hmm.
right? That negative Nelly in our heads.
Yes.
What a lot of people don't realize is that our brains have evolved to keep that voice there for a reason. Right? That's why 95% of the world is in risk avoidance mode all the time, because they listen to that voice. That voice becomes such a huge thing in their head because that voice was encouraged by any negative comments from possibly family members, maybe friends growing up who were less than positive human beings.
Right. It's reinforced as we
exactly.
grow
There
up.
we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's reinforced by all these experiences in life. And so some people allow that negative voice to become the voice in their head instead of the negative voice in their head. Like they get to the point where they can't even hear the whispers of positivity about themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing this up because this is something that can be changed.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I mean, you did it.
I did. I really did. I mean, the healing journey that I have been on does include this, like switch to a company and in health and wellness field. But I mean, it's a healing journey in so many ways. And that was definitely something I had to overcome. And it never quite, because your brain is geared to save you from things, but because we aren't chased by saber-toothed tigers anymore. And, that voice still exists to save us. But what we don't realize is it also typically is fear talking, and that fear will generally just hold us back. So we have to learn to feel the fear and do it anyway.
Amen to that. Because it ain't courage if there's not fear.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So as you've been going through all this, what are some things that you consider wins with this new business? And in addition to obviously overcoming that fear, what are some things that you've accomplished either for yourself, for your business, and your family? Share with us some of the positivity that you've encountered.
Well, I had my biggest income month in May, which I'm super proud of. And definitely loving. I now have over 300 people on my team.
Wow.
And so the thing that I am absolutely digging the most right now is I am loving what we call vision casting calls. And that's jumping on a Zoom with someone that is on your team and showing them exactly how they could share the gift of nutrition with others. And even if they don't want to work it as a full-blown business, they can still do this and get their monthly groceries paid for.
Right.
And so it's so much fun, because the cool thing about Isagenix is when you open an account and you're ordering your, healthy groceries every month from your phone, we have a great app that's free for all of our customers. You also basically open like a savings account. And so Isagenix has it set up where people can actually be banking points, which then can roll over into cash. So when they share with two people, husband, sister, son, daughter, bestie, whomever that needs to feel better because they're walking around feeling like crap all the time and everybody eats. When they share that gift of nutrition with two people, then they can unlock basically that savings account and then cash in. And not only can they get, cash to pay for their groceries, they can also get coupons, and they also get free product. And then if there happens to be that naggy bill that hangs over their head or keeps them awake at night, I can show them how, if they want to turn, their grocery money into an asset, then, and maybe get that bill paid for and it not hang over their head anymore. I love doing that. I love showing people because they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And so it's so much fun.
Probably because they don't have a goal.
Well, probably. Yes, ma'am. So,
right. They don't know what they don't know because they don't have a goal. So they're just not looking for anything yet. Right.
Right.
So, I think it's this opportunity that is available to people, the direct sales network marketing opportunity. Obviously people know I'm a huge fan of it. I'm a big believer in it because of the lives that it changes, not just because of the finances. Yes, the finances are awesome, but honestly, just based on what you and I have gone through, because you didn't know me before I was with Park Lane, and I had already been with Park Lane for over a year by the time you started. So you still were seeing the beginnings of me becoming who I am today. But I still had a lot of growth that I had experienced even in that year before we met. And so for a long time, I've said, and 100% believe that this opportunity in network marketing and direct sales or multi-level marketing, whatever you want to call it, whatever business model your company offers, this is a self-development opportunity with a paycheck attached.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, girl. My hands are in the air. Preach it. That's exactly. We actually joke about that within the Isogenics community, that we are a personal development company with a compensation plan.
Exactly. Right.
Yep.
It's seriously this opportunity, because anybody who has known me since I started my business in September of 2010, that's when I went official with Park Lane. They've slowly watched me change, but anybody who knew me back then and hasn't seen me really since then, and they find out I'm a coach now, let me tell you, that conversation is fucking hilarious.
I love it.
Because they're like, weren't you a stay-at-home mom? How did you end up as a business coach? And I'm like, shit, if you knew,
if you only knew
all the self-development I went through. And honestly, I do have to point back to one of the biggest shifts that happened for me was around the time that you and I really started becoming good friends, was when you and I were in the Jack Canfield book club together.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That book still to this day, I can point to as a major shifting point in my life.
Oh girl, it's still on my nightstand. I literally, it is my Bible after the Bible. That's just the way it is. It is my business Bible. Yeah. So yeah, I get it.
It's my life Bible. Let me put it to you that way.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? It's a business Bible. Yes, if you're in business, you should read Jack Canfield's The Success Principles. And I found out, I don't know, did you know he has a workbook now?
Oh.
There's a workbook with it. I totally nerded out and I bought it.
I need to do that. I did hear recently that on another podcast that he was coming out with a new edition, and they were updating the stories because some of the stories were kind of outdated with new technology and things.
Right.
So I did hear that there was a whole new edition coming out. So.
Oh, well, they came out with, apparently there was a workbook that came out a few years ago and I had not heard about it. And I happened to go online because I was going to send the link to a client who was asking where to get it. And that's when I found the workbook. And he also has 52 weeks of affirmations, success affirmations. Oh. So I bought that too.
Wow. Oh yeah. I'm definitely going to have to go online and check that out, because that would be awesome.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, that shift, all of this, I can really point to it starting with that. And it really came because, our upline, Mary Grace, it seemed like, every leader meeting, she'd talk about something and she'd be like, something, the success principle, that came out of her mouth so much that I finally was like, what is this? And I remember I bought the book and I had it for, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months before I reached out to you. And oh my gosh, who else was in that group? Kim Lake, Alyssa, was it Alyssa?
Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank, girlfriend.
Alyssa Cook, I think.
Allison
Cook, yes. Bev Austin, I think, was in that group. Oh my gosh, who else? Oh, I can see your face. Janie Sands.
Yeah.
So there was the 6 of us reading that book. And every single week we would jump on the phone together after we had read the 1, 2, or 3 whatevers, and we'd share and we'd hold each other accountable for, did you do the work? We'd send each other pictures on Facebook. And I'm sure I might even still have that group in my list of groups that I'm a part of.
Oh, probably. Me too.
But let me tell you, I found and now everybody's getting to listen in to just us talking, right?
Right.
This is no longer an interview. It's just us chatting. But I found the little book of index cards with the binding, it was one of those that I had done my goals from that activity, from reading that book. Wasn't it like 100 goals or something?
Yes.
And what was fascinating was, out of all the goal that I had achieved, I want to say 25 out of the 100 goals.
Dang.
Most of them before deadline.
Excellent.
Because I went back and I was like, oh my God.
That's so validating. Oh my goodness.
It was one of those vision board moments, like when you go, oh my God. Anyway, that's off topic. So no, this has just been, I love getting to share this with everybody, because, this opportunity to address the negative voice in your head is so huge. Challenging that negative voice. And I've done that with a client of mine where she pretty much hired me for confidence coaching. Because she's like, I want to be as confident as you are. And I was like, oh shit. I don't know how I got to be this confident.
Yeah. How do I teach this?
It's been 40 plus years in the making. Crap. How do I do this? Luckily she was young enough that she was willing to listen to anything I said. And so I worked with her on it, because, I have not had a perfect life. I went through an emotionally abusive relationship in college and left that guy right after I graduated college, because I was like, I'm not going into the rest of my life with this bullshit.
Right.
And then, but he had broken me down so hard that I remember the day after I broke up with him, just sobbing in my bed with my sister next to me, who is 2 years younger than I am, and just going, no one's ever gonna love me. I'm so stupid. And blah, blah, blah. Like, that's what he had put in my head. And it was years of work to come
it's reprogramming
back from that. And so, I think all of what I went through, as much as I hate that I went through it, I'm glad that I did. Because if I hadn't been through that shit, I wouldn't be as strong as I am now to be like, because I know this is a weird thing to share, but I'm going to do it anyway, because y'all know I'm as real as it fucking gets. But I remember somebody asking me not long before my marriage separation happened, can you see yourself living without him? And like, they felt, they were very like incredulous. Like, they thought for sure, like, we were the perfect couple. And, certainly you can't see yourself living without him. Right. And I remember my response, and I did not plan this. It just came out. I started laughing, and I was like, you don't know the shit I've been through. Yeah. I can live without him. Yes, I can. And I think that was the moment when I went, okay, not that I want to live without him, but here's the thing. It's like, I have no doubt in my ability, right? Because if I can come back from what I dealt with as a 20-something,
yes,
at that point I was like 38, 39 something. I was like,
yeah, you're like, I got this.
I can handle this. Like, I'll make it work. It's all good, because let me tell you, it's pretty hard to break me down any harder than I was there. And by golly, I'm not going to let that happen again. Not that my ex-husband was ever abusive or anything, but based on what we were going through, I was starting to internalize it. Right? He wasn't mean. He wasn't bad to me. He wasn't anything, but I was internalizing what was happening. And that, I think that moment was when I went, oh, fuck no.
Oh, thank you for that lesson.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but seriously, and all of this conversation started with the fact that the self-development that comes from this, I mean, the human beings you and I are now are not the people who started in direct sales.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I mean, Holy shit, I'm so thankful for it because it led me to where I am today. And I
Exactly.
know for you, it's led you to where you are today now. And the opportunity that we have, I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard me tell the story when it comes to sponsoring. I was already doing pretty well with team building, but I had a team member who was absolutely killing it. She was the one person who I thought for sure was going to outsell me and be the first person to outsell me. And she called me about 7 or 8 months, somewhere in there, after starting, and said, "Hey, by the way, I'm stepping back from the business and I'm going to disappear, and this phone number isn't going to work after tomorrow." And I'm
Goodness.
like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, secret ops or what?
I'm like, did you join the FBI? Are you CIA? Like, what the hell is this? And she's like, here's something you didn't know. I'm in an abusive marriage, and I was using Park Lane to get the money that I could to leave safely. So my daughters and I can disappear because I know that I have the possibility of being that statistic if I can't get us away and get us safe until everything.
Oh my God, I got chills again.
Settles, right? And that was the moment when I went, holy fuck. I mean, I knew sponsoring wasn't about me, but if I don't offer this opportunity to people.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Because it's like the moment you don't offer it, you're making it about you.
Yep.
And you are being selfish.
Yep. Because you don't want to be quote unquote that person. I don't want to be that person. Right. It's like, you just have no idea what other people are going through. That was the moment when because I had no clue. She hit it all. She was the consummate wife who hit it all. And she was so good at hiding. Her husband, now ex-husband, didn't even know she had used the business, didn't even know she was in the business.
Holy moly.
Didn't know she had a secret account where all that money was going to. Had no idea. And that was my aha moment that, oh my God, this is not about me. And if I don't offer it, there could be someone else out there who's in the same boat as she is. And I could not live with myself knowing that I didn't at least put it out there for people. And so I gave that opportunity to so many more people than I probably would have before, because I had seen what it had done for her. It got her and her family out. Her girls have now graduated high school. They are happy, healthy young ladies. She is remarried to an amazing man because she reconnected with me when it was safe.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm so glad to hear that.
You know, it's just, when you are in a health and wellness company, you're in a position to change someone's life, not just financially, but also physically.
Oh yeah. I'm continually like, I'll message someone and be like, hey, I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't say, look, there could be a solution to these migraines you're having every week, or this chronic pain that you're in. This might be something that could help remove the inflammation so you're not in as much pain. And I'm always like, hey, if it's not for you, that's okay. That's perfectly okay. But I would be a shitty friend if I did not tell you.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely not about us.
No, it's such an amazing opportunity. So knowing all of this, and somebody who's listening, and maybe they're in a part of the country where somehow they just haven't heard of Isagenix and they want to know more, how can they reach out to you, Carey? How do you want them? What's the one way you want them to reach out to you?
My Facebook profile is public. Okay. And I would absolutely love it. I check my others folder. If I don't happen to be friends with someone, they can still message me. I'm also on Instagram, and my handle there is just Carey Rippe, Carey Rippe. And my Facebook handle is Carey Dawn Thorn Rippe. I'm not sure why I needed to include every name I actually possess, but it
is what it is.
Yeah. And I would absolutely love to have a chat with anyone if they would like to just hear more about the opportunities with how this could improve their health, or if they want to hear anything about the financial comp plan. I'm happy to go over it, in any way, shape, or form. And typically most times, just starting on the products, and people, when they start to have their own transformation and their own success story, a lot of times it lends itself to, as human beings, we love to share what works for us and what we're enjoying. So it's a pretty natural way of doing things. So yeah, I would absolutely love to chat with anybody.
Awesome. Well, very good. Well, I'll let everybody know that I am going to put the links to your Facebook and Instagram pages and also your Facebook group name, because I also have that listed here. So I'll make sure that they have access to that. So if you're interested in talking to Carey, just go ahead and pull up the show notes on the phone. So pull up the episode, scroll up a little bit, and you'll notice all of the links to connect with her are right there. So Carey, thank you so much for sharing your time and your story with everybody, because I love doing this. This is so much fun. You popped my cherry, Jenny. I've never done a podcast before. So this was super duper fun. And I love keeping it real. That is me to a T. And so just thank you so much for the opportunity to come on here and chat with one of my great girlfriends and just get to talk about things that we love. Absolutely. Well, I am going to give you a warning, because I started as a podcast guest too.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. In fact, my story, if you got another minute, starts with me going to a new media summit where there were going to be a bunch of podcasters there who needed guests who were interesting. And I was like, oh, well, I'm interesting and I'm not shy. I'll get on a podcast. Sure. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'll figure it out. And showed up, got booked on about 8 different podcasts, got interviewed on them. And about 18 months later, my podcast was launching.
Oh, speaking of planting some seeds, I think you might have just planted a seed there. That's interesting. I love that.
It started as, I don't have time for that bullshit. I don't have time. I don't want to learn another thing and blah, blah, blah. And once I realized that the opportunity here was really about giving people who are in an industry that I absolutely love and believe in, a place to have a voice, to share their story, to be out there in front of the world, to let people know, hey, this is what I do and this is why I'm passionate about it. And no, this journey is not all rainbows and lollipops, right? This journey has wonderful ups and downs like a roller coaster. And these are some of the obstacles I've encountered. And this is what I found works for me in business. And being able to really just share that and have the listener have an opportunity to listen to somebody else's story that maybe sounds just like theirs or very similar, and being able to pull those nuggets of success to be able to say, oh, well, I haven't heard that from my upline, so thank God I heard this episode.
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
Gleaning information from all the different sources and piecing together what works for you. Like, to me, that's what it's all about. Like running with what resonates with you.
Absolutely. Because we're all different. And so that's why I've got people, I started with Rodan and Fields and Pure Romance, and I've now branched off into so many different companies and even people who aren't in the business world. There's going to be an episode playing later in July from a body image coach.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Oh my God, you have to listen. Make sure you listen and then connect with her with her connection stuff. Or if you want, just reach out to me after this and I'll send you her info. She is phenomenal. She's brilliant. And we had such an amazing conversation. I was like, we are booking a second one because I don't want to make my editor cut this into 2, because where do we stop this,
Right.
So we stopped at a natural point and then said, we're going to book another one of these for a few months out. And we're going to do another one of these amazing opportunities for people, because, part of what holds us back is our confidence, and some of our confidence comes from what we see in the mirror and what we think about when we look in the mirror. And she has such an amazing story behind how she became a coach. And, oh God, it's
very cool.
Bloody freaking brilliant. So anyway, well, thank you again for being here. I so appreciate your time, your experience, and your openness in sharing your journey, because I know we've both been up and down, and we've been the top earners, top sellers, top recruiters, top whatever, and here we are now.
Yep. Here we be. Well, thank you for the opportunity to get and chat, to be able to sit and chat and talk about things. It's been great.
Awesome. Well, good. Well, thank you very much. And make sure, everybody, that you stick around and listen, because there is another badass episode on the way.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the Dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.